death is the only really permanent thing. Everything else of value is kind of relative, or there are trade-offs or interchangeable in some shape or form. Death is the only finality. And so death is what generates scarcity of everything else. Ultimately, we all have a scarcity of time. We don't know how much time, but the fact that there is a scarcity of time is what makes our time valuable. And the fact that our time is valuable forces us to make value-based decisions about everything else that we do and pursue in life. And those value-based decisions are what makes life meaningful. The fact that I choose to spend my time on a podcast instead of, I don't know, like gardening in my backyard, that feels like a meaningful choice to me. The fact that I chose to spend my life with my wife as opposed to some other woman I dated, that feels meaningful because that time is scarce. I never get it back. Once it's used, it's gone forever. And one day it'll be used up. So ultimately, death is the object that I was going to try to do like a very poetic metaphor, and I just, this is why I write, Drew. I just, you give me,
I get that.
If you give me 5 minutes, I'll give you a perfect metaphor. But, when I just have to sit here and talk, you're going to end up with a lot of bullshit. So I think in subtle art, I say something like death casts the shadow by which everything else is measured.
Yeah.
There it
you
is.
go.
There it is. Okay,
Nailed it.
Edit that. We're just going to make me sound poetic as shit. Death casts the shadow by which everything else is measured. And I think that is the reason why I think most people have the experience that either when somebody close to them passes away or when they have a health scare themselves or a mortality scare themselves, like a near-death experience, it clarifies their values. It clarifies all those decisions that they've been making and maybe the decisions that they haven't been making well. So we started the show talking about the importance of choice and how often we make choices without being aware of the repercussions of those choices or the full extent of what we're choosing. Death is the thing that makes you aware of the extent of what you're choosing. Death is what makes you aware of like, oh, I've been wasting my time with people that don't really care about me. Or, oh, I'm investing in a career that, yeah, it makes me a bunch of money and gets me a bunch of status and prestige, but it doesn't feel impactful and it's not making me happy. Like death clarifies those things in a way that nothing else seems to.